Hello, my loves, and welcome to another episode of Fempire Builders with your host, Michelle Hext. I have had it on advisement that I cannot change the name of my podcast while we're in promo mode. So that took the decision right out of my hands. We are staying Fempire Builders for the foreseeable. Okay, I have a little bit of a different podcast for you today, and I know it's going to make probably a few people very, very happy. I often will share vulnerabilities or mistakes that I've made with, those that are close to me, and they will often say, "Oh my God, you are human. Hooray." And I get that a bit. And yeah, I guess from the outside looking in, it does look like I get it right most of the time, I guess. I don't know for sure, but I just know that, when we're always looking at somebody else's finished product, we always feel like they've got it together. We don't see the backstory and all the rest of it. So today is one that is, I guess I'm just going to share that. So over the weekend, yesterday, in fact, finished my secret podcast for the book Six Figures in 6 Months. How to have your first 6 figures in 6 months as a high ticket coach. And I had this idea that I wouldn't go and create a traditional audio book and put it for sale on Amazon alongside my other books, but instead I would create a free podcast and make it a hidden podcast as a list building exercise and deliver the link to the hidden podcast via email. And still standing by that, still great idea. I'm not going to invest money in promoting it for now. I probably won't actually, but it was a really good exercise to do. But I fucked up. And let me tell you why. I was in such a hurry to get it done, and I was excited to sit down and record it. I really was. And I still think it's okay, but even it's so weird. Like, I recorded the very first part of the book, and then I got in my head about it, and it's like, no, I'm deleting that and I'm doing that again. I didn't even listen to it. So I deleted that first part and did it again. And in the back of my mind, it was like, oh, I'm really annoyed that I am finding errors within the book, and I'm finding things within the book that aren't relevant anymore or aren't available anymore. It refers to, some products that I have had in the past and things like that. And I also found a lot of typos, which really pissed me off because I invested a fair bit in making sure the editing and the typesetting was done well. And I probably counted, I would say, at least 10 errors. And very annoyed about that. And every time I saw it, it kind of threw me off a little bit. And of course, I didn't make notes where those errors were, although I did voice it in the podcast a couple of times. But I was like, oh, this just feels messy. And so I got that first episode done, and it's like, it's okay, it'll be fine. Just, go listen to it. So I went on my walk and I listened to it, and it's like, you know what? It's not bad. It's okay. Then so the book is in 3 parts. There's like the first part, which is the intro and setting you up for what the book's about and you're going to achieve from the reading the book, etc. The second part of the book is like, that's the heavy lifting. That's where I help you piece together everything that you need to go out there and successfully sell your high ticket coaching offers. And okay, so in the first episode, in the intro, it's about 40 minutes long, I think. I did some ad-libbing and things like that, and I'm happy with that. Like, I never planned to read it as a word for word version of the book. Like, that was never the plan. The plan was always just to give more depth to some things and all the rest of it. So the first part, fine, right? But it only had, I think it's part 1, chapter 1. I don't even think there were 2 chapters in there, but there were sections that I could have broken up. And I'm like, it's okay. Like, it's fine. And in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, yeah, people will go for their walk and they'll listen to the audiobook, and, that's fine. So, what I'm saying is, they didn't break it into chapters. And so, the second part of the book has something like 8 chapters in it, and I read it the entire thing in one sitting, and it was like 2 hours and 7 minutes. And I got to the end of it, and I was like, "Well, it's done, but was that the best way to do it? Recording, like, a 2 hour and 7 minute, like, whack of content?" And then it was like, it's okay, it'll be okay. And through that section, I found a lot of stuff that I would probably teach differently now, et cetera, right? And then I get to the end bit, and it's essentially a workbook. And so I'm reading out the workbook, and I'm letting people know, look, you're going to need to get a hard copy of this book or get the Kindle version of this book, because unless you want to stop and just write down the questions every time. And as I said to them, I'm not going to create that for you, because I want you to go buy the book. So you've got the book on hand. And so I wrapped up that final part, so part 3, and I think that was around 36 minutes or something like that. And I got to the end of it, and I did leave a footnote, and I just said, look, this is not perfect, and I may re-record it again, and just went into a bit of a story at the end about how much further I've come and how much I feel like I've quantum leaped from when I first wrote this book to now. And yeah, yeah, like in many, many ways, right? So I spoke about that, and that was fine. And I already had the landing page ready to go. The podcast channel was already set up, and all the episodes were there. The email sequence is set up, the landing page, where the content page, everything is set up ready to go. There is no reason why I can't go out there and promote it. I did send it to I did post it on my Instagram stories, and yeah, that's it. That's all I've done. And I've actually put it on my website. So I've added a new section to my website, just so you know. It's under resources, and my free stuff or my complimentary gifts are going to be on that page. And so my masterclass is on there, a masterclass that I added over the weekend. You can go and grab that. That's about how to build your roadmap to 500K. That's on there. This is on there as well, this audiobook. And I just can't help but thinking as I finished it, and I can't stop thinking about it. And I'm like, oh, you should have really updated the book before you did that. So I updated the cover. The book has a new cover. I was kind of over the old cover. So that feels okay. And it's like, yeah, but you really need to edit that book. You need to go back and edit that book. And I'd been resisting that because for 2 reasons. One, I want to get stuck into my next book, Project You Inc., which is all about how to build a high ticket brand. And I wanted to get to that. And I knew that, so that was the first thing. And the other thing was, I knew that if I started editing that book, it would be a complete redo, and it would probably take place of a lot of the things that I want to write in Project You Inc. And so I didn't want to trip myself up there. And I just thought, it's okay. As I'm reading the book, I'll just explain these things as I go. And I did that, but it just felt messy. And so the lesson is, there's a couple of things, right? I want to just go and delete the whole thing, but I'm not going to. I'm not going to. Sometimes good enough has to do. And that's at such odds with my philosophy, or I guess standard, that everything that we produce is of the highest quality and should be a very luxe experience. And I don't feel like that was. I just don't feel like it was. And so I'm really wrestling with it. Part of me wants to just bin it, and part of me is just like, just freaking leave it there, and just leave it there, but don't promote it. And then that will force you to get in there and redo it. And it will, it absolutely will. And so I am not going to do it straight away. What I've decided that I'm going to do is I'm going to write Project You first. I'm going to edit it. And I'm going to edit this one myself. And I'm going to just have some proofreaders because for all the editing that was done to that book, as I'm reading it, I'm realizing I started some concepts, but I never landed them. And like, where was the editor telling me you kind of started off on this thought, but you didn't land it? That was her job. And so I'm looking at the book and I hate it now. And I really was proud of it for a while, and that's the thing, right? There's a few things. There's a lot of things I guess I want to unpack. The first thing is when we feel a deep misalignment to something, it's going to feel uncomfortable, right? I look at my new brand. I don't imagine there was a lot of swearing in that book. And as I was reading it, it felt very uncomfortable. That's not to say I'm never going to swear again or anything like that. I'm not saying that. But I just felt like the person that wrote that is a very different person to the person that's sitting here 2 years later. And it just didn't feel like it flowed off the tongue like it did when I was writing it in the first place. So, one thing, quantum leaps. I've made some quantum leaps since I wrote that book. And that is to do with a few things. One was, my diagnosis and then going on a massive healing journey after like big conflict with my mum and just realizing a lot of the way that I was doing business was a trauma response, just trying to stay busy, trying to stay distracted, trying to. And so I've unlearned a lot of things. I've simplified my business so much. And even the marketing looks very different these days because I don't labor over it. I don't feel like I have to go out there and just like, oh, here we go again, got to market the next offer. Just doesn't feel like that for me anymore because I've developed systems that feel really amazing. And so it was really great to see that growth, but oh, so freaking cringy to go back and look at that book. Now, there are people that love that book. There are people that were in my mastermind who read that book who said, oh my God, this is amazing. And whenever I need to apply anything in the mastermind, I go back there. Or whenever I need something, I go back to that book. So I know it's okay, right? But I can do better. And I also have to acknowledge the fact that that was my best at the time. It was. And that just shows me how far I've come, how much growth there has actually been, how much clarity has dropped, how much my standards have risen, and things like that. And so it's a blessing and a curse, right? To see how far we've come, especially if there's something out there on the internet or out there in the real world. People have this book in their homes. And it's like, oh. And then I guess if I go back and look at the book before that and the book before that, I probably would feel the same. I probably really would feel the same. Although I think The Art of Kicking Ass Elegantly was probably truest to, any of the others that I've written over the years. Anyway, so there was that. There was also this idea that, I have high standards now and I want everything that my people that come into contact with me have a really high value experience. Now, I'm still going to be me. I'm still going to be me. So I'm not saying that is all going to shift, but I want the experience to feel amazing. So when I record these podcasts for you, this feels like a conversation to me. This feels like, when I listen back to them on my walks, it's like, oh, I'm really feel connected to you guys. I feel like I'm really talking to you, and I love that. And so the podcast is going to be, a mix of different things. And some are going to be podcasts that you really love, and others are going to be podcasts that you're like, meh, don't know about that one. And that's fine, right? It is what it is. And that's the nature of podcasts. I don't overthink it. And yet some podcasts definitely feel better for me when I hit stop record than others. But overall, I'm pretty happy with the way the podcast is going. And I just looked at my stats now, and we're up to about 64 listening hours a day as of this morning. So that is pretty crazy. You guys are listening to lots of episodes, which is very cool. Um, and so, yeah, I want them to have this amazing experience. And I feel like the landing page is great, the content page is great, the email is very simple, but that's good too. And the podcast, having it as a secret podcast and the look of the podcast, all that's fine. And then I just feel like it loses something over it. And it feels misaligned. But part of me is also, but you're also role modeling that things don't have to be perfect all of the time. Sometimes things can be a little bit messy, a little bit rough around the edges, and that's exactly what needed to be produced. I know I'm going to re-record that book. I know I'm going to rewrite that book, but I'm not doing it before I write the current book because it'll just get in the way of me writing this book, which feels like it's going to be the best work of my life. And so the other thing about doing something that doesn't feel fully aligned is it never feels complete, right? And this is something that I know I struggled with for years. I haven't struggled with it for a long time. And I know it's something that my clients have struggled with, over the years as well. I think it's a pretty common thing where we create something and because we either rush it or because I don't know, it's usually a rushing thing, right? So I was being impatient. There's definitely that. And then we feel like, oh, that's not my best work. And then you go and you put it out into the world and there's this energy around it, right? Oh, this is not my best work. This is not my best work. Don't know if I really want that out there. And so it creates this funky energy around it. And so I like things to feel complete. That is not going to feel complete to me until I go back and redo it, till I rewrite the book, till I re-record that. It's just not going to. You can hear it, right? Like I'm stuck around it. I'm actually feeling it in my chest. It feels like a heavy pinching in my chest. It's like, just get rid of it. But I'm not going to because this is a lesson. And I like to teach myself lessons. And the lesson is don't produce shit you're not proud of because it will always come back and bite you. And so it's a really good lesson. And so, yeah, I should have done those things and I would have been happier with the result. I didn't. Here we are. It is not perfect. You may love it, and that's great. I don't. I'm going to go get this book done and I will come back to it because I do believe in the book. I do believe in the concept that I was creating within that book, which is a really simple path to six figures in 6 months. It's a very good beginner book. I feel like for those of you that, are just getting started, it's a really good way to simplify. There's strategy in there. It's a very good way to simplify all of that. And then you'll want this other book that I'm writing right now because it's less step by step telling you what to do and more an immersion. And that feels like such an amazing vibe to be able to go and create. And so, yeah, what am I trying to say? How do I want to wrap this up today? I guess what I want to say is when we don't produce our best work, it will sit with us, especially if we care, right? This is almost like a physical pain in my body, in my chest, that it's out there. And why would I leave it? Because I created it and I always believe that I'm the harshest critic. And when I put stuff out there that I think sucks because it's not perfect, that is usually when I get the greatest responses, which is wild to me. And so for those reasons, I am going to leave it. And for the third reason, it's because it's going to get in my craw until I do something about it, and then I will be able to go and create something else and or redo it and it'll be fine. But also the other thing I wanted to say is the experience of doing that was so amazing. And so I know that, sorry, tells me we're going to have a thunderstorm coming if you can hear that. That shows me that I actually did love the process, even that 2 hour and 7 2 hour and 7 minute episode. I love the process, and it's also made me super aware that when I record Project U Inc. as the same setup, oh, it's going to be so much better. And I also will know that I'm going to read it before I publish the book, so that if I find any typos, if I find any unedited, any bits where I've started on a theme and then not quite landed it, then I will go back and I'll write it and I'll delete that episode and I'll take my time with it. But I wouldn't have that experience if I hadn't have had this one. And I think this is what I want to say to you. We all do things, we all create things that don't feel our best work. And they help us to get to our best work. Everything is always a work in progress, right? And what I love is that even though I've been in this industry for so many years, I think I wrote my first book in 2012, and I've been, yeah, in this space for so long. I still learn so much and I still learn a lot about myself. And I love to see the evolution. And honestly, between writing that book, and I remember, I was in Thailand finishing it off and spent a week in Thailand. I'd started writing it and then took myself to a fight camp in Thailand and then did that for a couple of weeks and then went to a resort and finished writing. And I wrote for hours every day. And that was a great process too. It was a really good process. Hey, maybe I need to book a holiday. Um, but the growth that has happened, and it's quantum, it's felt quantum compared to that. Just as a business evolution perspective and an evolution of myself, I look back at that book and it's like, wow, wow. I could have written that 10 years ago. It feels like I could have written it 10 years ago, not 2 years ago. And so just honor the journey, right? Honor where you are right now and know that everything that you create, everything that you do will stack on top of the next thing and the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And before you know it, you'll be where everything feels effortless. I love that for me, at 56 years of age, I feel like I'm doing the best work I've ever done in my life. I feel like my business model could not be simpler, more potent, more effective. I just feel so in my power right now, and I'm really enjoying it. And at 56, after being in this industry since 91, like, isn't that wild? It's just wild to me. But I mean, it is my nature to be excited and enthusiastic about things and passionate about things. It's definitely part of my nature, but I just love that that's the case. And I love that I get to find more and more ways to fall in love with what I do. And the evolution for me has been simplicity, more and more and more and more simplicity. And speaking of simplicity, the doors are currently open for your roadmap to 500K, which is a 12-week program. I've run this program before as a 6-week program. And I just feel like I want more time for people, because what we're doing is we're building out your entire system. So it's going to start with your sweet spot and your high ticket offer. And then we're going to build out your sales system and your messaging so that you have everything you need to market your business effectively via a sales system. So not having to reinvent the wheel every single month. One of the things that I've included, or two things that I've included in this program that I didn't include last time, one, we have an onboarding strategy call where I help you get clear on your offer. We map out the path forward. So, for example, you might say, well, I really want to use podcasting as my strategy. And we're going to pick 2 or 3 strategies that all work in the background and get your business feeling like you just have leads coming in from everywhere. And so we'll map out all of that strategy. And then when the calls start, they are every single week for 12 weeks. That's when you're going to be implementing. So I'm going to be on those calls every week to give you what you need to get the job done and to keep moving forward. And then there is one other thing that I'm doing, and that is when it comes time for you to run your Meta ads, because a lot of you will want to run ads. And I feel like I'm done with creating trainings for my ads training because I I just it bores me. So what I like to do instead is sit with my clients. We open up the Zoom, we go into Zoom and we do a session where I help them set up their ads, optimize their ads, get the ads running. And then when those are ads usually that they can run for a very long time. And once that's done and you know how to do it and you record the session so you can go ahead and repeat that. I also talk about how to know if the ad's working or not. But over the course of your roadmap to 500K, what we're going to do is during the calls, you'll be able to share your stats with me on your ads. And I can tell you, yes, this is good, spend a bit more money or whatever. And just so you know, we're not spending hundreds of dollars on our ads. My clients typically spend per month on advertising, on marketing, $500. And that includes money that they invest in podcast promotion plus ads. So we don't spend a lot to get massive returns on investment. So if that's something you want to know more about, go to michellehex.com/500K, or if you go to my website, you'll see it there. Anyway, I would love to have you as part of that program. That'll be the shortest program that I run. 3 months is going to give us plenty of time to get you up and running and building your bespoke sales system. So it's delivering leads and sales. And just knowing that I have those one-on-one calls with you as well to hold your hand in the planning process. So you have that clarity drop at the very beginning and then with the ads, because I know people can get bogged down there. So I'll be in the dashboard with you, helping you get those ads up. So if that sounds like something you absolutely need and you know that you are done with running around the internet trying to find clients, done running around the internet trying to figure out how to get people to notice you, then we are going to develop something that is steady and sustainable and will work for you 24/7 without you having to spend a lot of time and energy on it. It's all about leveraged, quiet marketing. Anyway, that is it. I will see you next week. And if you want that Six Figures in 6 Months podcast, go to my website, michellehex.com/resources, and you'll see it sitting on the page there. Alrighty, that is it. I will see you later. Bye for now.